Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Why this short film is a masterpiece. It touches on so many different aspects of leftism, different beliefs that they have. One of those I really do enjoy is their view on cyberbullying. The commercial starts out mentioning bullying, but then it goes on to show a kid running away from other kids. They jump through a screen that seems to be showing an old ad of Gillette. The kids run eventually into a woman's living room after a few flashes of text are thrown up on the screen showing some insults to, I suppose, the kid that she's currently hugging. Never mind that hugging the kid does nothing to stop future forms of bullying. That goes into the ineffectiveness of single motherhood, which is a topic for another video. But for this, we see how the kids are running through her living room, knocking things over, being just violent children. And this is deliberate. This is trying to show us that this physical violence is the same as the cyberbullying that the kid gets. The feelings might be the same. And since we know that feelings are more important than fact for leftism, the cyber violence is the same as real violence. Now, that might sound silly. It might sound as if I was just making this up, just looking at a quick scene and coming up with my own conjectures of what that means. But this is based on actual leftist beliefs. The UN released a report in 2015 trying to justify why cyber violence is the same as real physical violence. Now, the UN later retracted this, but only after pressure. This should serve as insight into how to deal with crazy proclamations from the left. I mean, if you treat every chaotic utterance as if it has actual meaning, you might go crazy as well. And it's worth it to read this report. So just go to Google for yourself and check it out. And then let me know your thoughts. What do they propose to classify as cyber violence? And see how they consider the internet as unsafe based on feelings versus reality. Do you think that there are any differences in how men perceive danger versus women? If you were to guess, would you think one gender is more likely to base perception of danger on simply feeling safe or unsafe? And what do you think the eventual punishment for the perpetrator would involve? Would they want to further restrict individual freedom in exchange for security? You're likely to guess what their proposals would be as punishment, because based on her feelings, she would want the state, a much bigger alpha, to put its hands on you. And this is a side question. Why would the UN want to promote exchanging freedom for security? Emotional security, I should say. Why would this organization want to enforce more censorship? Okay, now let's get into some facts about cyberbullying. The majority of cyberbullying is perpetrated by females, and the majority of victims are females. The Gillette masterpiece does a sleight of hand or sleight of eye by portraying this, along with other general bad behavior, as something uniquely masculine, versus portraying it as something many toxic people do regardless of the genitalia they have between their legs or the sexual identity. So females are more likely to engage in indirect bullying. And this is when a person or group of people spread rumors or stories about someone behind their back. And this is what they've done before the internet. Now that we have the internet, females are over 2.5 times more likely to post gossip than males are. Another favorite tactic of theirs is to bully in packs in order to incite others in the group to do the same. They also use alienation, ostracizing a member. This is done in real life as well as online. And we know from just looking at the evolution of male versus female, to be ostracized is much more painful and was much more dangerous for a female than it was for a male. And we can't forget one of their favorite techniques, shaming. Shaming affects us all, but seeing as how the left is based on feminine thinking, shaming has more of an effect from their perspective than the folks on the right. So there are several examples of cyber violence perpetrated by females against other females or females against guys. A lot of these cases have ended with teenagers committing suicide from the constant barrage of bullying. There's even a case of a mother in her 40s who cyberbullied a young teenage female to the point that she committed suicide by hanging. That is the face of toxic femininity. A grown woman picking on a child. Several cases of females taunting and manipulating people verbally into the point that they just don't like their lives anymore. And this is why these techniques are a favorite from the left. Finally, why do I call this a masterpiece? Not only does this scene show us their thoughts on cyberbullying, the whole masterpiece exemplifies techniques the left would use to attack others. So studies show that those with lower self-control are even more likely to post gossip or cyberbully. So those with an external locus of control, meaning a person who believes it's not my fault, my life belongs in the hands of fate or external factors. It's little sense of accountability. So essentially, the foundation of leftist thinking produces the kind of person who would engage in cyber violence. Gillette, by creating this short film, provides us yet another way to view the cult of leftism.